Hi, I'm Reza Ghafoorzadeh. I'm partner in the KPMG Global Strategy Group. I'm glad to be here today to talk about exciting subject about life science with my dear friend Gregory Rall. How are you, Gregory, today?
I'm very fine. Thank you so much. Good afternoon from Berlin, Germany. Thank you for the invitation.
So, Gregory, maybe you want to introduce in a few words what you're doing on a daily basis for the sector?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I belong to the Invest Hong Kong organization. We are from the Hong Kong government, and my tasks are related to the foreign direct investment activities. This means I'm scouting within Europe about a very promising, innovative companies and help them to land them in Hong Kong. Most of the time, it's biotechnology companies or AI or robotics companies, yes.
Exciting. So let me start with you talk about biotech. I think we have all seen that we've been through like a kind of winter last year in 2023. There are a lot of high hopes for 2024. If we take your experience in scouting companies, looking at various hubs around the world, especially if we take biomedical, what do you think, with your experience, contributes to create like a stimulating environment to attract not only investors, I would say, but also, of course, talents, startups and corporates, because it's the ecosystem that matters?
Yes, this is very correct. So this is very interesting because normally I started before to go to conferences, and sometimes it was a very generic approach. You have very young companies, mature companies, etc. But recently, the Hong Kong government was very interested in the country of Switzerland, especially in the hub and cluster of Basel. So that's not only the reason that you have a Roche, the mega pharma Roche and Novartis present, but many skillful biotechnology companies there. And Switzerland is not so big. It's a kind of like Hong Kong is super connector. You have very short pathways to the right key opinion leaders. The government is very supportive. Everything is lean there. And they have also good funding environment, similar like Hong Kong. So I will travel actually tomorrow to Zurich, but in the next months will be several times be stationed in Basel looking for the new talents. And the last thing I want to add on is I find Switzerland very proactive, especially also regarding to Hong Kong, China. They created now very new ties, companies, inviting companies like BG and other companies landing in Switzerland and create a better portfolio in the country. Yeah, this has been my first take.
Oh, interesting. So I'm going to take a bit of French hat here, being based in Paris, and of course, having lived in Asia, we can give an Asian flavor to that too. What do you think we could do better in France, for example? If I just explain with other words, when we look at, you just open a newspaper even today or last week, there were a lot of debates on attractiveness of the country. Of course, this is linked to all the taxation, all the fiscal policies, also all the incentives. You mentioned Switzerland, you mentioned Hong Kong. What are the things we can learn from those locations and maybe try to do a bit better here, Gregory?
I think France is normally very excellent. I mean, I visited before Paris, like the Junopole cluster, and Lyon. They're very strong in infectious disease. But I think, how can I say? I always think when I think about innovation, it's about creating the proper value chain. Value chain is several things. It's from basic research to technology, translational research to product. So you need a good government, you need regulation, you need talents, you need funding, but the right infrastructure. And Hong Kong is, of course, great, but they were also lucky because this is the third biggest financial hub, especially in the funding area. They are very supportive. They created with the Hong Kong Exchange the Chapter 18A, where your biotech company can actually go pre-revenue IPO. So it's fastening the funding, but also helping you to scale up globally with this kind of funding tool. So this is the example of Hong Kong. Then we are also connected to the Greater Bay Area. So we have Hong Kong as an international place with lots of talents from around the world, but you can also connect to Greater Bay Area towards China. This is the promising outline about Hong Kong GBA, where we talk about Switzerland. Switzerland is also surrounded by several countries. So for me, Switzerland looks similar like Hong Kong. It's a financial place. It's very vibrant, but also connected to Germany, France, Italy, Austria, inviting several talents and proliferate certain projects. Yeah.
Very interesting, and also for our audience, when you mentioned the Greater Bay Area is the zone which is the extended 12 cities linking Hong Kong to the mainland, so it's around 70 million inhabitants. But I'm really interested because you mentioned the role of superconnector, and basically, what do you mean by that? Because if we take the example also of Europe, where we also have infrastructure, the cities are well connected. We could also talk about super connection. So what makes it different for Hong Kong?
Yeah, how can I say? I had my colleagues they visited me in Germany from Oasis, the group, and they talked a lot about superconnector. Superconnector means not only that you can take the train or the subway. No, it means actually that in Hong Kong, they are very hands-on, proactive. You need just 2 or 3 phone calls, then you get the proper contact. So in Hong Kong, it's like not a village, but people know each other. People like to exchange. People going out, and they are very good in leading you to the right people. This I experienced in Hong Kong. For example, I met you and other stakeholders telling me about the vibrant biomedical ecosystem in Hong Kong. And similar in Switzerland is similar. They are very pragmatic, hands-on. They like to connect. They say very quick yes, no. But they have the connection because you have to create a kind of network. For example, from the ex-Roche, ex-Novartis, creating new biotechnology companies, not only biotech, they're in the infrastructure, CROs, CMOs. They can lead you to a proper key opinion leader or to a service provider. So these are the small pathways you can utilize in Hong Kong or in Switzerland.
Well, thanks for sharing that. So that to change basically a bit gear, that makes me think about the role of talent, because all this cannot really happen if we don't have the talent. And we clearly see that if we take now the perspective of the US, with centers like Boston, San Francisco, and so many others, what do you think makes the US so attractive for talents?
How can I say? US is more like, I cannot say like Hollywood, but everything is possible. But in America, it's really like the sky is the limit. When you go to Boston, there's a kind of, not only Harvard, MIT, there's a kind of network, there's the cluster. The best companies in the world going to Boston, they have R&D centers there. So they have not only a greater value chain with all service providers and leading companies, supportive companies, they already attracted top talent. And there's a kind of friendly competition. So you say, you know what, I also want to achieve this, or I work on new platform technologies, even, for example, fancy things like medical AI. So what is about generative AI? Can we use it for life science? I think you really can make a career development there. Everyone is welcome there. And the sky's the limit. Maybe you try out new technologies, companies, formation, business models, and this will lead to new companies. And therefore, you have this very vibrant cluster in Boston. So I can say in a nutshell, sometimes you cannot replicate a culture. When I studied about clustering effects, the cluster model, some countries and hubs say, we want to import this from America to Asia or Europe. Sometimes it's not working because in America, you have a different setup, not only about the professionals, but also about the setup that the government is a little bit backward, lean, or saying, you know what, let the professional work. And then they make private initiatives. They have, for example, in San Diego, another cluster, they use entrepreneurs in residence. These are senior managers that say, you know what, young guys, I take you under my wings, please pitch, I tell you, or maybe this is a good business model, maybe not, or you forgot the client, or the product is not good and so on. But they really have an open discussion in America about business model, about markets, etc., and about the funding, where other countries and hubs are a little bit more passive. So I would say Boston is the place to be. But I would say I think France is very leading. Recently, not only about life science, I really like that France is a driver in the AI sector. I think they invested several billions. So I think It's not only about America and AI or medical AI or China. I think in between is Europe, represented by France. The second thing is, I think the cluster triangle of Oxford, Cambridge, London is very impressive. They have a huge value chain and portfolio. Last but not least, Basel is very promising. So they already have this kind of talent attraction and attracting also the best companies to place there. Yeah.
Excellent. So maybe I know we don't have much time today, and we could talk for hours. But can you share your perspectives on AI? You mentioned a lot. It was really the talk in town in JP Morgan, at the World Economic Forum, and we've seen very talented, actually French entrepreneurs, the likes of Okin and so on, really getting a lot of traction. So what's your perspective for this year? What do you see changing in the industry thanks to AI?
There are many things can happen, because the thing is also the openness, as you mentioned, at the very important World Conference. There's a discussion, and it's not only about what is possible or technology platform. It's also about the ethical standard, what is good for, what is not good for. Should we make a framework? Especially in Europe, they're very good in the framework, but our homework is to go more for products and business models. But I would say, I think the AI will help us to speed up for drug discovery, drug development, or products development, but also reducing certain costs, and also certain doctors working or researchers working on several medicines can have a better formation, a better talk how to share innovation and working together. So it will help the medicine, the health sector in general. And I think we should also maybe go for the impossible things. How about the CNS diseases or rare diseases and so on? So this is really my hope, that we can work now in the next few years on the biggest challenges. Yeah, this is my guess.
So thanks a lot for sharing. It seems like a very exciting year for everybody in the industry. In the name of KPMG, I wanted to thank you for taking the time, and hopefully we can share more insights in the future.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward for our next talk. Thank you so much, Reza.
Thank you, Greg.